just in case anybody felt like attending the session but was for some reason unable to do it. So for that person, we can make this recording available. Okay. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvebhyaha Namaskaraha. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to register for this introductory Sanskritam course called Sasyam. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Jayakumar Srinivasan Ammangudi. Father's first name is Srinivasan. And my grandparents were from a small village called Ammangudi, about 20 kilometers from Kumbakonam in Tamil Nadu. I was born in Kumbakonam, and after that, I think my father moved to Hyderabad. So pretty much I grew up and studied in Hyderabad. And then I went to do my undergraduate in Chennai, Indian Institute of Technology. By profession, I'm a chemical engineer. And after that, I wanted to do some research. So I went to the US, got my master's and PhD, again in chemical engineering, and worked in a large company large chemical company for about 22 years. Now, along the way, around the same time, 94, like that, I found myself in an ashram called Arsha Vidya Gurukulam in the US, and I heard Swami Dayananda Saraswati, whom some of you might have heard of. And so after that, I got very interested in Vedanta. So I started listening to his talks, and those days, no MP3 and iPhones and all that. And so I had purchased audio cassettes, boxes and boxes of audio cassettes of his, and put it in my trunk, in my dicky, and drove all the way back home. In those days, I was living near Chicago, and I used to listen to those talks. And my interest grew like that. And then around 2000, my company moved me to Houston, which is where I lived for most of my stay in the US. And there, the study grew, and I started teaching. I started conducting classes. I first started teaching children at a temple there called Meenakshi Temple. And then started classes of our own in one of my friends' places in Houston. And so Bhagavad Gita classes, Sanskrit classes, and children's classes, and helped us a lot. And we kind of grew together as a community. So then those classes are still going on in a big way. And in 2015, I decided, somehow it came to me without actually deciding, it came to me that I found myself quitting my job and returned to India. I live in Coimbatore now, and to take care of my parents who are seniors, and then had a chance to stay in the ashram here. There is another ashram, same Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, established by Swamiji in Coimbatore. So I stayed there for a couple of years, attending the long-term course. And after that, Swamiji asked me to start teaching. So that's how I I am where I am. So I pretty much spend full time either teaching or studying. These are the only two main things I do besides taking care of my parents. So last year I started this Sasyam class about a year ago, beginners Sanskritam, because a lot of my friends were asking me for it. And so I was very apprehensive how I would teach Sanskritam online like this. Because I've taught, it's one thing to teach to a group of friends who are, pratyaksham, available in front of you in a physical class where there's a lot of engagement, all that is possible. But somehow when I started doing this, it was a bit of a challenge for me. But I learned the system, I worked through it, and we developed some nice systems to engage, and so it all worked very well. And a year later, what happened? I spoke to Samskrita Bharati, and they have this 4-tiered exam structure, course structure called Pravesha, Parichaya, Shiksha, and Kovida. So let's see, there is okay, I'm muted. There is some noise coming there. So then our students were interested in taking that exam, and so Samskrita Bharati exam, all of them attended and passed. And along the way, what I found was a few friends, actually not friends, few people were watching the videos. I used to record my classes and make it available for those students who missed the classes, not for the general public. And so some three or four of 3-4 people started watching these videos and started doing homeworks on a weekly basis. And I never saw them. And so they got to a point where they also expressed their interest in attending this exam. And so they wrote the Samskrita Bharati exam and they passed. And I was a bit amazed by that, because I did not expect somebody to, take that track. So then they told me that, it is something that might be doable by others also, those who cannot attend live classes for various reasons. So then I thought through that, and then that's what made me decide to offer this particular course, where I intended, where the idea is that everybody will watch a video of a class that was conducted, and then do the homework on a weekly basis, submit it, and we will grade it, and then give it back to you. And then periodically have this live tutorials like today, where you get a chance to practice. Now, the way I teach these classes is based on a model that was developed by Samskrita Bharati. So just like a child learns how to speak its language, that's the natural way of learning the language. The child doesn't learn grammar. Okay, we're going to have a session on grammar. To go, it's a verb. To eat, it's a verb. Apple, it's a noun. Red apple, red is adjective. So no child gets that kind of lecture. And so all of us, we know our mother tongue, and that's how we learned it. And some of us know more languages than just one, including English. And English may be a little different, but still as a child, we must have spoken English when we learned it in school. And so that model appealed to me a lot, and I've seen it work. And I've, in all my classes since 15 years ago, I've been using that technique, and it worked very well for me and for my students. So I'll be using that same model in these classes too. And so even though the goal of the course is not to master conversation, still sambhashanena Samskritam patamaha. So we will learn Sanskritam through conversation. And I found that to be effective because for me, I could connect to the language much better. So today, if I'm speaking English, you all speak English. I connect with English very well. I can read, I can write, and I like to write also. And so I wanted myself to become like that with Sanskritam. So I asked myself, why can't I speak if I want to study? So I found that the language is, of course, a speakable language. And so when I read Shankara's Bhashyam or Bhagavad Gita, then I found the words started, talking to me. Because I developed the love for the language through conversation. And conversation gave me the confidence, gave me the love and confidence to pursue the language and thereby get into the study of Shastra. And rightly, many of you, in fact, all of you, I think, mentioned that one of your desires is to study the Shastra. Maybe you're already studying Shastra and like Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, and you want to study it. So to study the Upanishads means, and read the original translations, means we have to really spend time understanding this language like we understand English, correct? Or your mother tongue, if you know how to read and write your mother tongue. So how do you do that? That's a challenge. And so this technique seems to work, and Samskrita Bharati has also proved very well that they're the organization that started with just one person, Krishna Shastri ji, is now such a big movement all over the world. But you will see along the way how the class proceeds, and so my belief is that all of you will like it. So Sanskritam, very interesting language. When I started learning it, I found it very much to be like a lot of logic in the language, somewhat mathematical and very logical. Every letter is pronounced only one way, unlike in English. Suppose I give you a letter. Suppose I write the letter C. Write the letter C. And so how do you pronounce that letter? Then, so you will have a doubt. You'll have a doubt because is it? Then suppose I give you another letter, C-A. Then you might say cat. So it's to be pronounced C-A-T-C-H, catch. But then if I say C-H, then it's no longer cat, it becomes cha. So the C's pronunciation is changed, and C-H-A-N-C-E, chance. But suppose I say C-I-T-E, then it becomes sight. So I'm citing you, you're citing me, etc. So ka, cha, sa. Suppose I say C-Z-A-R. Now that's another pronunciation, zar, which is neither sa, neither ka, nor cha. So we get used to all these things while studying the language. But in Sanskritam, there is no such possibility. So often they say this Sanskritam is apt for natural language processing, computer science, etc. I never used to understand that statement. What do you mean by that? So as I studied the language, as I studied Panini, I began to understand slowly what that meant. So one-to-one correspondence between a letter and its pronunciation. And I'll give you another example. So the last, I'm teaching a shloka course, and last class we were studying I was teaching a shloka on Saraswati. Ya Devi stuyate nityam vibudhair veda paragaihi same vasatu jihva agre Brahma Rupa Saraswati. Like this, there is a shloka. So I was teaching that. So in the shloka, there is a word called paragaha, paragaihi. That word comes, correct? So this word paraga has two parts, para and ga. So Sanskrit words can be dissected, unlike in English or other languages. So paragaha, param gacchati. So the ga is the root for go, to go. I won't be surprised if the verb go English comes from the Sanskrit ga. Number one, not a coincidence, I don't think so. Okay, ga means to go. Param, par karta hai, Hindi mein par. So, jo par karta hai, wah parag hai. One who crosses, param means to cross. To cross or to accomplish something, correct? So one who accomplishes something is called paraga. And this verse says Veda paraga. So one who crossed the Vedas means what? One who has mastered the Vedas. That person is called Veda paraga. Okay. Now, I'll ask you a question. You can unmute yourself to answer. In Hindi, what is the word for bird? What are some words for bird?
Chidi.
Pakshi. What is another word for bird?
Pakshi. Chidiya.
Chidiya, another word. Panchi.
Panchi. Yeah.
Okay, another word. Any of you can unmute yourself. So there is a word called khag. Khag, correct? Does khag mean pakshi hai ya nahi? Yeah. So khag.
Yep.
Sanskrit khagaha. Khagaha means pakshi. So like parag, you have khag. And what is khag? Kha in Sanskrit means akasha. Ga, of course, means to go. So ke gachati iti khagaha. That which moves in the sky is called pakshi, is called khagaha. Okay? So look at that. We just broke down a word into its constituents. And then once we understand the constituents, we can rejoin them and make words. So another word in Sanskrit for snake is called uragaha. Uragaha. Okay? So in Sanskrit, uras means stomach, chest. Okay? Uras gachati. Urasa gachati. The one which moves on its stomach is called uragaha. Got it? Yeah. So uragaha. So a serpent, not just a snake, but even a reptile. Any reptile could be called uragaha. And perhaps a crocodile can be called a uragaha. But since it goes in water also, maybe they don't use it so much. So therefore, the word khag, for example, can be used for an airplane also. Because by definition, ke gachati, akashe gachati means anything that moves in the sky, and you can use the word khaga for an airplane. So if you're writing a poem, depending on the word you want to use, you can use, whatever, vimana yantram, or you can say khaga. And the reader will have to interpret the word khaga and say, oh, maybe the poet means airplane. Because the poet is saying, I went in a khaga, like that. So therefore, I found that Sanskrit is a very different language. And suddenly it opens up a whole world, because now you can create words. You can create words that did not exist. Because I just now created a word called Akashagaha. Akashaga means one which moves in the akasha, which can be pakshi. So you can create a word like that. And nobody can say it's wrong. Because many words you will find as you study the Shastram and shlokas, they're all words that are instantaneously manufactured. Therefore, there is no such thing called a Sanskrit dictionary. A complete Sanskrit dictionary. You will never find that title. You might find an easy dictionary, you might find a student's dictionary, you might find a concise dictionary, but you won't find a complete Sanskrit dictionary because there isn't one. Okay? So that's some background I wanted to give. And so this, is there a question?
I guess I wanted to ask, what is Amarakosha then? Isn't that a dictionary?
Yeah, Amarakosha is not a dictionary, really speaking, because if you look at Amarakosha, you won't find any meanings. You will find simply a list of words from the beginning to end. And verse after verse after verse after verse. See, what is a dictionary? Given a word, it should give an explanation, a definition or an explanation, correct? But Amarakosha, it gives a word, then it will give a lot of synonyms, and then it will move on to another word, synonyms, another word, synonyms, another word, synonyms. So it's really a book of synonyms. Okay?
Okay.
So but if you want to know the meaning of a word, you won't find it in Amarakosha.
Okay.
So one of my students is actually teaching Amarakosha to some children, young children. And these young children, in those days, we used to memorize Amarakosha. Amarakosha memorized. Panini Sutras memorized completely. The other day I was watching a video of a 3-year-old baby, 2-year-old baby, 2.5-year-old baby, just chanting Panini Sutras. Some 1,000+ sutras. She is just chanting it. So I was amazed. So those days we used to have that. Anyway, so Amarakosha is not a dictionary. It's something we used to gain a command of the language. So we can, many synonyms of these words, all that we grasp. And so that's the purpose of Amarakosha. So this course, the way it will move is, you will be watching. My classes are all 1.5 hours, because it's not worth meeting for less than that, being one class a week. And you watch the video and then study it. Then you will be given a homework where you have to submit it before the end of the week, before the next class begins. Periodically, we'll be conducting tutorial classes. I said we because I have a dozen students who I've been teaching, and they are all offering to help. And so, some of them will back me up. So we'll be conducting tutorial classes like this, where all of us will have a chance to practice what we learned. I will be pairing you up with one of my students or myself, so that you will have somebody to help you. One of the problems I found over the last 15 years is that many people wanted to study Sanskritam. I have not heard anybody saying Sanskritam is a waste of time and this and that. Nobody says that. So, but people had difficulty. Many people have come to me and said, "Oh, I've been studying on and off, and I've forgotten now. And 2 years ago I picked up, but then after a few months I left off and all that." So they all have all books at home. How many? I'm sure all of you have many books at home. But somehow these books don't make you study. I don't know why. And so that's because I found that it has to be learned in a structured way. And guidance is always needed, because I needed guidance. And I also fell off a lot of times. And so with that guidance, I felt that I found that a lot of students pick up very well. And somebody to answer questions should always be there. So that's why now I've felt that, in the course that I'm conducting, I'm now conducting a course which is the next level, which is an intermediate course. And so those students are all available. They are well versed in the basics of Sanskritam. And so there are a dozen of us, and we will be available for you in this journey, in this course. So when will the course complete? If you say, I will say that something like when we complete the syllabus of the first tier of Samskrita Bharati, Pravesha, and we are all quote unquote ready to write the exam. You're not obligated to write any exams, but quote unquote, at that time we will say that we are done with this course, and you all can move on to the next level. So typically Samskrita Bharati, Coimbatore, India conducts these exams twice a year. Even in the US, they conduct twice a year. So when I finished this course, I approached Samskrita Bharati and I said, they said each person, depending on where they live, they have to apply to their particular Samskrita Bharati. So Nasik, go to Bombay; Kolkata, go to Delhi; Chennai, go to Chennai; Coimbatore, go to Coimbatore, etc. They gave me a big list of these things. In America, you approach your American center. But I told them that, I've been conducting a class like this, and every week we meet online. I sent them some of my videos, and I told them I want to conduct this exam in a class like this, where we meet, and the exam is 2 hours or something. And I want all of those students, regardless of where they live, to attend and write like this. And so they found this request to be intriguing. And they even the online course, I think they were not familiar with or not used to. So they looked at it and they immediately accepted that. And they now consider this Ashra Seva Kendram as one of their satellite centers. And so they said okay, and then they gave me the question paper, and then all my students met at a time like this, 6:45 on a Friday morning, and then we wrote the exam. So we will try something like that with this class also, if that works out. So, I wanted to show you some books and things like that. But anyway, I've spoken for half an hour. What I'll do is, let's introduce each other. And just like I've done, I live in Coimbatore. I'm single. I'm 55 years old. And so you can share whatever you want about yourself, your background, what do you do you work, you have a family, how did you come to Sanskritam, how did you come to this class, whatever introduction, and don't keep it too long, so everybody will get a chance to speak. And then I'll come back and talk to you about these books. And I've invited one of my students. Remember I said there are some students who actually started watching these videos without my knowledge and without my even seeing them. And so I've invited one of them to come. If she comes, then we will, I wanted her to say a few words so you can see that perspective also, a student's perspective. So let's do that. Rather than unmute all of you, what I'll do is I'll just go in order that I see in my screen. Saraswati, and then Manisha, and then Shashank, in that order. Deepa, go ahead and mute yourself. So Saraswati, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Saraswati. I live in Columbus, Ohio, USA.
Originally from Chennai. Mother tongue is Telugu. Mostly studied in Chennai. Husband is from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. I have one daughter who is in 11th grade, and I work in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, very nice. I somehow I thought your face was familiar, but I it looks as though I met you. But I lived in Columbus for a year and a half, so maybe there is some connection there that I cannot recall.
Yeah, up to 4th grade, I studied in Coimbatore.
Okay, you studied in Coimbatore. I see. I see. Okay. No, I meant Columbus. I lived in Columbus for a year and a half.
Mm.
So maybe I met you there somewhere at the temple or
Yeah,
something.
maybe in the temple. Yeah. Sajeev introduced me to this class. Thank you very much.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Saraswati ji. Okay, so go ahead, Manasa. Unmute yourself.
Hi, I am Manasa. I'm from Bellevue, Washington. I am 2 kids, 11 and 12 years. I work in Bellevue. I'm from Karnataka. My mother tongue is Sanketi. I've always wanted to learn Sanskrit, but the schools offered Hindi. So I took Pravesha, all those exams in Hindi, but somehow couldn't learn Sanskrit. Everybody in the house is well versed in Bhagavad Gita, all the shlokas. I know them, but knowing them and understanding them are two different things. I just want to learn Sanskrit. That's it.
Sure, sure. Sure. Thanks for joining, Manasa.
Thank you.
How far is Bellevue from Seattle?
It's just half an hour.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
So, Vasundhara, you're saying you're not able to hear anything, and so
It's all fine.
sorry.
It's all fine now.
Okay. 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 Very good. All right.
Yes. I live in Austin, Texas. I have a one kid who goes to 3rd grade. So somehow on the Facebook, I stumbled upon this about this course, and I wanted to learn Sanskrit from a very long time.
Sure. Where are you from in India, Vasundhara?
Originally, like from Karnataka, Sringeri. I speak Kannada at home.
Very nice. Very nice. Austin also, there is a good group. Srikant, my friend Srikant, those days he used to teach. I think he's still in Austin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we know him. So like sometimes we meet, folks from Samskrita Bharati as well.
Mm.
So yeah, pretty much here and there.
Yeah. So have you considered attending those classes, or have you attended them?
Yeah, so it was like from 1 year, like we have been planning. So first we thought, like I will attend, then somehow the time did not match up. Then we thought, okay, we'll enroll our kid. Then somehow there also time didn't match up. So I think this is my final opportunity. So I just had to grab it.
Mm-hmm. So I can't see you. Where are you? What is your? Oh, there you are.
Pardon me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, I was holding it the other way.
Sometimes we have this problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think I even the past students, I've told them that attending at least a shibiram of Samskrita Bharati is very beneficial to pick up the language, and many of my students have attended that. And so I'm glad there are groups in Austin. Austin is they have a pretty solid group, and I remember long ago. Yeah, can you keep your video on so we can?
Yeah, 1 second.
So Austin, long ago, 2004, I conducted a Sanskrit camp in Houston, and at that time, I remember that's when I came to know of Srikant, I think, and so a group of people from Austin also joined us in Houston. and Krishna Shastri ji visited from India and so forth. We had a great time. And but yeah, feel free to. I encourage you to. Nothing beats a physical 1.5 hour class where you're actually meeting people. Okay, so
Yeah.
I want you to consider that. And even though online classes are very useful, still, now if you have a class near you, it's always worth doing that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try it.
Sure. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have Arun. After that, Padmaseni, and then Gokila in that order. Arun, go ahead. Unmute yourself. So Arun, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Namaskaram. My name is Arun. I work and live in Miami, Florida, in US. And I pretty much I studied and I graduated from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And my native language, mother tongue, is Tamil. The Sanskrit, like I lived in Vesmambalam, and somehow I missed the opportunity to learn, even though my sisters and they made use of the opportunity to be physically, she took that initiative and went and learned. Somehow I never did that. And the recent years have been studying Shastras and the Sanskrit literature, but I always have to go and look for the translations. So when I have been having this year to learn Sanskrit so that I can understand it from the original text, and when I came across this thing in a Facebook post, immediately I applied.
Very nice, very nice. So you don't want to leave your sisters alone, so you want to catch up with them, and
yeah.
That's a good desire to have. And yeah, Chennai is they have a lot of groups, and my parents we used to live in Chennai in Mylapore for many years, 2000 to 2013. So I've been to the Chennai Samskrita Bharati office. Used to be in Chetpad those days, but I don't know where it is now. But thanks for joining, Arun. Nice to have you. So after we finish the introductions, we'll have some more questions, time for questions, etc. So not to worry. Yeah, no problem, Sapna. Go ahead. All right. So go ahead, Padmaseni ji. Unmute yourself, and Arun can mute yourself. We cannot hear you.
No?
Yeah, now we can hear.
No, yes. I am 65 years old, retired. I am also from Chennai, born and brought up, worked Chennai. And now I am here in US with my daughters. And that's what. I want to learn Sanskrit. I'm into astrology. So it's very useful to learn Sanskrit so that I can read the original text. I read only translations and then I practice.
Correct.
I did learn last year. I did join the course conducted by the Chinmayananda thing online, and I did the course fully, but I didn't take up any exams.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, astrology, etc. It's all written in Sanskritam, all the original,
Yes.
and and even see. I tell people anything of significance done in India in the past is all written in Sanskrit. And so even if you, of course, Upanishads, Vedas are all in Sanskrit, no doubt. But Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharatam, Ramayanam is also original in Sanskritam. And Puranas, Bhagavatam is in Sanskritam. That is another big volume. Then you come to science. That's, if you say, I want to know what did Bhaskaracharya do, the mathematician, and Madhvacharya, they invented all these, Fourier series and Fibonacci series and all that. And long before Fibonacci was born, And so then you have to go back to this Leelavati, which was written by Bhaskaracharya, and Leelavati is in Sanskritam. And you want to know what Chanakya did? Hey, I want to know. We are struggling here in terms of governing our country, and we want to know how to govern this country. And well, you want to know Arthashastra, you have to know Sanskritam. So like this, even those of you interested in, then of course poetry, what to talk about Kalidasa, the first great dramatic poet that we had. And so very true. I'm not surprised to hear what you're saying. So hope this journey will help you, Padma Seniji.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gokila, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kokila. I live in Fremont, California. I am from Salem, Tamil Nadu. I am a housewife. I have 2 children. One is in 10th grade and another one is in 4th. And I wanted to learn Sanskrit to clearly pronounce slokas. That's the main reason. And I speak Saurashtra at home.
Okay. So Saurashtra means it is close to which language?
It's mix up all like Marathi and Telugu. It's a mixer like. In Tamil Nadu they call us Patnolkar.
Oh.
Patnolkar.
Another?
Patnolkar.
Oh, Patnolkar. Oh. I see. Correct. I think I've heard that. Very interesting. Yeah, even in Coimbatore, being right in between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, right there in the border, and I'm not used to this. Their language is a little different, and mix of Kerala and all. I mean Malayalam, and the food also is different, and they make things like Olan, which I'm not used to, and so I live in a senior citizens home, even though I'm only 55. Here somehow I got a spot, and I've been cooking for so many years. I decided, can I find a place where I can just food is available and I can just do my work. And I was very, very, very fortunate to find this place. So in the dining hall, I go whenever the time comes, and so I get used to these kinds of foods, which are Kerala Tamil Nadu mix. So thanks for joining, Gokilaji. Hope this course will be of use to you.
Thank you.
So in case some of you are wondering, how come all of you are from some part of the US or another, etc. What happened is many people signed up. So I broke down. I'm conducting several orientation sessions. So I think one of my students was helping me put all the US registrants in one class. I think must be today. So that's why this class is all mostly, it looks like those from US. So go ahead. Next, let's see. Sandeep, Kapila, Lalita, Rani, and Jayant.
Hi, I'm Sandeep Kapila. I live in Mumbai, India, and run a non-profit called Swasth Foundation, which focuses on health. Background-wise.
So did you say Swasth Foundation?
Yes, Swasth Foundation.
Yeah, I heard somebody yesterday. She was there. I think she said Swasth, but I couldn't.
Yes. This is my colleague Garima. So she in fact got me on this. I missed the registration first. So I think then she requested and you said, yeah, there was possibly something on this.
Okay.
That's how I joined.
Got it. Yeah.
Background-wise, I am a computer science graduate from IIT Bombay. Then was a management consultant. Grew up all across India, different cultures, and been always wanting to learn Sanskrit formally. I've been reading translations, but I think this is what seems very exciting. And I think I definitely like the methodology that you proposed through conversations, because that's been my struggle. I've taken up books, but I realized that's not how I can learn a language. So I learned Marathi also by listening to people and talking. So I'm very excited about this. Thanks.
Very nice, very nice. And what does Swasth do?
Uh, our sort of vision is health and joy for all, and the way we do it is through building a sustainable and accountable health system, which has various components like clinics and wellness centers, working with schools, so different programs looking at different aspects of the healthcare system,
Excellent.
and health in a much broader, in a well-being, in a swasth kind of way, and not in the more modern way of.
Sure.
So we do a lot of yoga and etc. as well.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, here in my own small way, I've been working with many laborers. I'm trying to introduce them to this, Ayushman Bharat and things like that. And it's so difficult. I mean, there is a health insurance program in Tamil Nadu, and finally I found one of my friends introduced me to a person who did a PhD in this, and so got some good leads. But this Ayushman Bharat is probably the best bet, because this Tamil Nadu program is very corrupt. If you are not already a member, they make you go round and round before you get that membership card. So maybe I'll reach out to you at a future time and learn some more on this topic.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Sandeep.
Thank you.
So let's see here. So go ahead, Lalitaji. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself. So 1 second, let me, I can unmute you if you cannot.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm Lalita Rani from Malaysia. Was exposed to Gita studies and all these things. We have a guru from who was a disciple of Swami Dayananda. I don't know whether you know him or not. Swami Saraswati Jitatmananda.
Yeah, so I may have met him at the Gurukulam in the last, when I was spending some time there, 2 years. So I think he may have visited the ashram.
Yeah, he goes, okay. So I was there with him for about a couple of years. Then also I joined Chimya Mission online Bhagavad Gita courses. And okay, that time I was not really interested in Sanskrit. We have a Gita ashram here. We was exposed to that Sanskrit class for a couple of months. Then he left to Varanasi and didn't come back. That's all of my Sanskrit knowledge. But now we are doing with Swami Advayananda from Chimya Mission some webinar courses. He keeps telling that. And I also realized the beauty of Sanskrit when doing all these things. My Rudram chanting class is the one that makes me feel that I should learn Sanskrit. Because it's the importance of knowing the meaning and the chanting, you have to chant it correctly. So I'm having a big problem there, pronouncing the words.
Sure.
So I decided that. And I've been trying many times to do in various ways. In fact, I registered with online Chimya Mission, but that didn't suit me because I thought I need a personal touch, like, somebody to teach me, sort of guide us through. I needed that.
Yeah. So
I came across this in the yes.
Yeah. So that is needed in this language, learning this language. And so if I mean, do you have any local groups that you've seen, or how is that? Doing local?
We have some classes going on, but nothing goes on sort of regularly. They will start something, and then so far we see that it doesn't go further than either the teachers are not free or they get transferred. So they don't have any permanent group so far yet.
Yeah. So do you live in Kuala Lumpur or where in Malaysia?
Yeah, I live in Petaling Jaya, which is considered to be in Kuala Lumpur.
I see. Okay. Very nice. Thanks for joining. So I think the course will, I feel it will help you. And the key is to, be disciplined and, follow the course week after week. And then,
Thank you.
yeah, welcome, Lalita. So let's see. Did I say Rajpal? Maybe Rajpal, Jayant, and then Munmun in that order.
Namaskaram, everyone. My name is Rajpal. I live in Bay Area, California. I work as a software engineer here in.
Your volume is somewhat feeble, so having difficulty hearing.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll. Is it okay now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Rajpal. I am from Bay Area, California. I work in San Francisco as a software engineer. My experience with Sanskrit started when I was in 11th and 12th. Like I am basically from the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now it is Telangana, Hyderabad. So we used to have a second language in 11th and 12th. So we have option of taking either Sanskrit, French, or Hindi, German, all those options. I took Sanskrit just because it is very easy to score high marks, not really interest out of the language at that time. But over a period of time, I got interest in like Indian culture and all our great books. I read like some of the books in Telugu, but now the reason to join this class is I want to teach Sanskrit to my son who is almost 3 years old. So I want to learn myself before teaching him. Maybe I'll join him in a class here in, like, there are some temples that teach Sanskrit here in the Bay Area. So but before that, even I want to learn so that I can communicate with him and learn together. So yeah, that's why I joined the class. And I speak Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, and English. So I want to add one more language to the list. And I like the way methodology that you are adopting, because I learned Tamil language that way. I was in Chennai for 5 years, and just by speaking to the people, my colleagues and friends, I just picked up the language, watching movies and all the stuff. So I can speak and understand the language, but I cannot read and write it. But Sanskrit, I want to achieve reading, writing, and speaking all the stuff.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Sure. As San Francisco, I mean, there must be groups learning Sanskrit. Some Samskrita Bharati, in fact, Samskrita Bharati headquarters, US also is in California, probably San Francisco, if not somewhere. I forget where it is. So Govinda Yalagalavadi, I know him from a long time, and so he was the one who was managing the activities of US. And so you might have heard of some Samskrita Bharati classes there, correct?
No, I haven't searched about it yet, but I will. Now that you mentioned Sanskrit Bharati, I just went online and I checked their website.
Yeah, definitely do that. And good group. I mean, that's where the movement in the US started. And so a lot of people in California who can speak Sanskritam. And so I encourage you to look into it.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Jayant, go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, namaskaram everyone. My name is Jayant. I live in LA and I'm working on my PhD in financial economics. My mother tongue is Tanjaur Marathi, and I come from a Dvaita philosophy background, and I've heard a lot about Dvaita and Advaita philosophically fighting against each other. So I really wanted to know what's this all about. Although in essence they explain us what it is, but I'd like to actually read the text because it's just the interpretation of Advaita philosophy and Dvaita philosophy, which is different, but the text is same. So I'd like to read and see for myself what exactly it is. So that's one of the motivations. The other motivation is I'd like to pronounce all the mantras properly, because pronouncing mantras actually helps you in spiritually advancing yourself. And in the long term, I would also like to perform yagyas and shaligram puja by myself.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so I mean, you can do pujas as long as you know how to pronounce, and so we don't need to be experts in Sanskrit before we start doing pujas. I think we all understand that. And which city are you in, Jayant?
LA.
Okay.
Los Angeles.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I think so. One of the things when I studied Advaita, one of the things, for example, Shankara Bhashyam. So there's always a debate. He presents debates. The simulated debates. What about this? What about that? What about this view? You say this, but somebody else says this. So how do you respond to that? So those debates are very common those days, especially during Shankara's time. He had debated with a lot of people. And so if our acharyas, Dvaitacharya and Ramanujacharya, they're all, the beauty is they're all so knowledgeable, even though they've interpreted the same text differently. You look at the amount of knowledge they have, and it seems only appropriate that we grasp at least a minuscule of what they knew, is it not? So,
yeah, true.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mun, go ahead. So
hello, sir.
Are you able
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we cannot see you though.
Yeah, actually, the camera got cracked, the front camera. I am logging from mobile, that's why. So,
no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. Hello, sir. I am from Kolkata. My name is Moon Banerjee. And currently, I am working in a IT company called Capgemini India. So, actually, basically, I came to know from Facebook about this class. So then I decided to join in. The motto of joining or learning Sanskrit is that actually I want to read the scriptures in original form, not in translation, like Sri Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and the other books as well. So that was the interest area. So initially I was not sure how it's going to happen, because this is the first time I'm joining in any online class. So now, like I'm feeling a bit comfortable, like, because I can see you all, and hopefully from the next class you'll be able to see me as well. So that is the whole thing. And I learned Sanskrit for 1 year in my school days, and that was our fourth subject. So I did not get the opportunity, and that time it was a phobia, to write something in Sanskrit. So then I moved to Hindi because I felt it is easier than Sanskrit. So now I feel that I want to learn it from inside, like I don't know how it happened, but this is what I actually want, so that I don't have to read the translation.
Very good. Yeah, that's a
So that's all.
And all of us, in a way, all of us are in the same boat as you are, and so welcome to the family.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Go ahead and mute yourself. Deepa Salem.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and now we can see you also.
Okay. Yeah, Hari Om. I'm Deepa. I live in Chicago. I have 3 children, and I also used to live in Houston. And my older children used to go to Chandraji in Houston. I think he may be the one who's continuing. You mentioned that he's continuing the classes. So
Yeah, you sound so familiar. You
yeah,
look
we had a.
familiar. That's why could be
I
that.
don't know if we crossed paths, though I cannot tell. We used to live in Houston a while back, like 2001 time frame also, and then we moved to Chicago, and then we moved back to Houston, and now we are back in Chicago. So it's possible that we may have crossed paths. Um, yeah, so I have 3 children, 11th grader, 8th grader, and a 4th grader. And older 2 have been exposed to Sanskrit. They went to a class in Chennai Mission for a couple of years, as well as with Chandraji in Houston. Unfortunately, high school, after they started high school, they've quit. But from a personal standpoint, we are all part of Chinmaya Mission. So we have, been going to Chinmaya Mission for the last 10, 11 years now. So consistent study of Gita and all the study groups in a consistent manner. But over the last 6 years or so, I've also been part of a Swami Paramarthananda study group. So it's a joy to learn from him, and you get the appreciation of Sanskrit through his lectures. So we are blessed to have both the Chinmay Mission rigor for the whole family, and personally for me with Swami Paramarthananda. So from a Sanskrit standpoint, I did just like somebody else was saying, I did first grade to 5th grade, I had it as a second language, and then I switched over to Tamil, and then again 11th, 12th, I did Sanskrit. So I have a pretty decent. I can read, write comfortably, kind of do this, but always it's been like just stagnating at that level. I've just not able to take it to the next level, and be comfortable with it, be able to face an exam. So I've never been able to, I kind of try to do that, but I'm not able to kind of consistently proceed to the next level. Like you say, we bought a lot of books, everything else is lying around, but I'm hoping that I can be a little more disciplined. And I think this exam approach that you have will make us be much more disciplined, be able to have consistency in terms of homework and all that. I think I need that at this point.
Sure.
Yeah. So I work full time, and I have the 3 children. That's about it.
Sure. Good to have you. And I also remember seeing you on Facebook. I think you do good blogging on Facebook. All the best to you. All the power to you.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty active on it, and that's where I saw your posting. And I got it forwarded by multiple people, from within our Paramarthananda group as well, and and your page as well. So thanks a lot for doing this.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, I think the challenge is to keep up with the class every week, and so I tell folks that the biggest challenge, the biggest barrier to this course is tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes, and so it's easy for you to say, yeah, I don't have time today, and I'll watch the video tomorrow, and then if a couple of weeks later you find that you have 2 classes to catch up and 2 homeworks to do, and then you miss tutorials, and you're beginning to not follow the tutorials also. So that can be a bit of a challenge. so all the best. I hope we pray that, of course, we can prioritize our time and so forth. Thanks for joining, Deepa.
Thanks.
So Bill and Ira, in that order.
Well, hi, I'm Bill. I'm in the U.S. Near Washington, D.C., and I heard of this class through Facebook, of course. So this is my first time signing in, and I have an interest in Sanskrit, but no experience. and I've studied a little bit of Hindi, but not much. So this is going to be mostly an introduction to me. I've been to India 3 times for 2 or 3 weeks each and seen a lot of the country. And I work with probably 75% Indians in my job as an IT manager. So that's a little bit about my background.
Sure, sure. So question to you is, so what kind of, so you're an IT manager working for yourself or for a company?
No, it's for a big company, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, excellent. So can I assume that you know Devanagari, namely the script with which Sanskrit is written?
Yes, I can do most of the, I can read most of the letters, probably about 75% of the letters.
Okay. Okay, so one of the requirements here, one of the assumptions we make is that you, all of you know Devanagari, because I'll be using some texts. So I'll be using some texts like this, like a book called Abhyasa Pustakam, and of course this book has it's a picture-based kind of book, and fortunately this book has both the Devanagari script and the English or Roman script, but there are some books which don't, and like this book, for example, and so it will be a benefit for everybody to know Devanagari. If you do not know Devanagari, you send me a note, and then we will see what we can do. You can start attending the classes, and the classes themselves, because they're all conversation based, at least initially, where it's easy for one to pick up the language without knowing Devanagari. But please send me a note so we can see what we can do. Thanks for joining, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Ira. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes.
My name is Ira. I'm Brazilian. I just met the Vedic culture, and I'm wanting to know more. And I already know the letters, and I want to know more and hear more.
Sure, sure. So where do you live in Brazil?
Brasilia.
Oh, Brasilia.
The
Okay.
capital. Yes.
Yeah, the company I work for, we used to ship a lot of product. We are a large chemical company. So we used to ship product to one of the ports in Brazil, in the eastern coast, of Brazil. I forget the name of the ports and things like that, but we used to do that and monitor the movements and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. I'm a public server.
I see. So which means, what do you do?
I work in the Congress.
Ah, okay. Very nice. Welcome to the course, Ira. Hope we can be of some help to you. Okay, so next, so we have quite a few people left. Seth Ramachandran, Srinath, let's see, Krishna, in that order.
Okay, my name is Seth Raman. I'm from Pondicherry. I live in Toronto for the last 20 years. And I'm an empty nester with my wife. My children has moved out. And I think I find now more time. I want to, learn Sanskrit just to practice slogas. Unfortunately, I don't know Devanagari script because I'm from Pondicherry, and those days, we didn't learn.
Sure.
Hopefully, I can pick up some books, and I think we can pick up because anyways, it's Hindi words. I can pick up the letters. I know part partly I know those letters, but I think I have to start fresh on that.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think that will help you a lot once you start with you know some of it. So then we can. So send me a note. Let me give you all my telephone number.
Okay.
89033 02805. So 89033 02805, and the country code that goes in front of it is 91. So +91. And
Okay, I know that. 890330285. What is the last
yeah, so
numeral?
let me repeat once again. 89033 02805.
Okay, I will send.
805.
Okay,
And
thanks.
so those of you who have difficulty with Devanagari, you send me a message in WhatsApp. So okay, so thank you. So Gurudayal is sharing his screen. So what you do is send me a message on WhatsApp and with your email address, so that I can put all of us in one email, and we'll see. I mean, we need to find an online resource, and I don't know how successful I'm going to be to find that out. So let's keep our prayers, and then see where it takes us. Okay. Okay. Thanks for joining. So go ahead, Krishna, and then Prasuna. So we can't hear you. Are you able to hear us? Yeah. So we are not able to hear a word of you. What about you saying?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Namaste. I'm Krishna. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm from Andhra. And it's pretty much about me. And then I'm interested in learning Sanskrit just to understand day-to-day prayers and Sandhyavandanam and then Anushtanam and then while performing Namakam and Chamakam, while doing the Abhishekam, I wanted to understand and I wanted to experience the beauty of it. So that's the purpose of, I've tried many times, but here and there, I know I can grasp some of them, but not fluent. So I'm trying my best to get to it.
Sure. Which part of Andhra?
Sir, Andhra, originally from Kadapa, but settled at Hyderabad.
Okay.
My mother's side, they are very fluent in Sanskrit, and I didn't get that part of it, but I'm trying to get.
Definitely, yeah. So it looks like
Yes.
all our elders were definitely better off than us in terms of Sanskrit language.
So true, so true.
Okay. Prasuna, go ahead. Thanks for joining, Krishnaji.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Hello, I'm Prasuna. I recently moved to Victoria, Canada from Seattle. I'm basically from Hyderabad. So my parents live in Hyderabad. And for the background, I have masters from electronics engineering, and I work as a software engineer. For the Sanskrit background, I just studied in my +2, and I'm more interested in scriptures, Hindu scriptures, and all the Vedas and all. And I actually read Mahabharata and all in Telugu, but I was not satisfied. So I wanted to have the actual Sanskrit words so that I can understand. So I recently started with my brushing up my grammar and all, but I found that I need some direction and guidance to get through that.
Sure.
So that's why. So yeah, I got through this from Facebook, so I just applied and I wanted to learn the language.
Sure, sure. Welcome to the course, Vasuna.
Thanks.
So I'm sure, so I'm hoping that this course will help you also.
Yep, thanks.
Mhm. So who else do we have? Gurudayal.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is Gurudayal. I also joined yesterday, but due to technical error, it's become too late for me. So I am from Uttar Pradesh, and I know I have learned Sanskrit from till 8th standard, but after then it become optional, so I opt another language. And I'm also interested in learning Sanskrit. Uh, I think we know English, but English more than Sanskrit. That ashamed me that we don't know our language better than English. So I am so interested in learning Sanskrit and know our culture better.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. So you are, where in UP are you now again?
I am from Jaunpur. It's a district just in the middle of Varanasi and Allahabad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prayagraj.
You mentioned that yesterday, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I had mentioned.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Gurudayal.
Thanks. Okay.
So since we'll be speaking in Sanskritam, so somebody said, oh, I'm not good in English. Yesterday somebody said that. And so I said, not a problem. You're not good in English. We're not going to be talking in English except in the orientation. So that should not be a problem is what I'd say. So, but yeah, since you have a Hindi background, I think that will help you a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And also one thing that people says that we are forgetting our culture, but it's not like that. As you mentioned that there are so many registration for learning this course, so me feel good that we are not getting actually opportunity. We are not interested, but not we are not getting so much that much of opportunity. And in our country syllabus also, Sanskrit is not compulsory.
Sure.
So
Yes, I understand
I'm
that.
very thankful to you that you are doing such kind of thing.
Welcome, Gurudayal. So I'm going to now go and mute yourself, Gurudayal, and then I'm going to request Charvi Shah. She is a past student of mine. I mentioned to you earlier that I had requested her to give her perspective of what it means to take a video course. And I said, she was studying by herself and so forth. And I was very surprised when I heard that she had caught up quite a bit. And so, if perspective I couldn't give, I hope she can give now. So, Charvi, go ahead.
I can't hear you anymore.
Oh. Yeah, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, apologize for that
Yes.
interruption. I think it was my internet. Okay, so go ahead. What I was saying is, if in case I missed, the connection didn't go through there. So I wanted to invite Charvi Shah, who is a past student of mine, and wanted her to give. all of you a perspective of a student and how it would be to take this course, watch videos and things like that. And so, Charlie, go ahead. It's your floor.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste, Jayakumarji.
Namaste.
It's a pleasure to see all of you wanting to learn Sanskrit, so many of us. As Guruji just, Guru Dayalji, he just mentioned that there are a lot of us interested, but we don't get those opportunities. And I'm really grateful to Jayakumarji for giving us this opportunity. A little about myself. I was born and brought up in Surat. It's a town in Gujarat. And I studied architecture from Ahmedabad. Then I got married and I came to Bombay. And I've been living here for about 16 years now. I live here with my husband and son. My husband is also an architect, and we have our small practice together, of which I'm even a smaller part though. So that's about me. So I came to know about Sasyam in August 2018. And that was the same time when I had started my Vedanta studies. And I really felt the need to know Sanskrit to be able to actually appreciate the true essence of the scriptures. And which is, I think, the reason for most of us to learn Sanskrit over here. So I was really happy when I came to know about Sasyam. But unfortunately, the class timing did not suit me. The time at which the live classes were being conducted, I had a lot of other commitments at that time. Also, by the time I came to know about Sasyam, they were done with about 25 classes. So I was a bit disheartened at first. But then a friend who is also Jayakumarji's student, she suggested that I should at least have a look at the YouTube videos of the classes once. So then I watched one class, and that's how it all started. I realized that actually this is the perfect way to go about it, at least for me. I can watch the videos and then I can learn the language. Because I really found the classes very interesting. So I spoke to Jayakumarji and requested him if I could go about it that way. And so then that's how I started with Sasyam. While watching the classes, I realized that it did not matter if whether I was attending the live class or not. Even through the recordings, I was learning a lot. The classes go at a very comfortable pace. And there is generally one topic per class, or one concept sometimes even takes 2 classes. And more so, it is so interesting. So I'm sure you must have gauged from the orientation also that it's not like a conventional class which starts to get boring. Jayakumarji makes it so interesting. He comes up with so many things that he keeps wanting us for more all the time. So the classes are really engaging. Plus, there is a lot of repetition of any concept that is being taught. So also Jayakumarji repeats it many times, and all the students that are there in the class are made to come up with their own sentences, their own examples based on that concept, and a number of them. So that's how there is a lot of repetition of the concept. So that also helped me a lot. And it is again the concept that is taught in one class gets revised in the next class before starting a new concept. So in about 3 or 4 classes, I actually started phrasing simple sentences in Sanskrit. I even started annoying my family by talking to them in Sanskrit, and I keep doing it even now. So that was really engaging. Plus, there are a lot of other things that are there in the classes, which like there are songs, shlokas, video links, video clips. There are documentaries which are by foreigners but in Sanskrit. So, and there are film clips in Sanskrit. There are conversations by kids in Sanskrit. So there are so many things that make the classes really interesting and engaging. But honestly, in spite of the classes being so engaging, because I had to do it on my own and all, I would have probably given up in some time. I did not give it up for the only reason that there is a fantastic back-end support that we get over here. At any point in time, either Jay Kumar ji or any of his students, they're always available to clear doubts. They're so motivating. So they're there to help whenever you want. So actually literally whenever you want, because there are like students from US. If somebody from India is not, it's sleeping, then the US people are awake. So there is, it always gets clarified. There is always help whenever you need the help. There is a WhatsApp group of which we are a part of, and there is a lot to learn by from the discussions, from the doubts of other students, which keeps popping up on the WhatsApp group. So I must have attended probably one class probably, and yet I've never felt disconnected. I've always felt like I'm a part of the group, very connected. So that was a very good thing. Secondly, Jay Kumar ji gives us access to a fantastic resource library. So this library has a lot of resources which are digital. So digital PDFs of books, and there are class notes. There are a lot of other reference material which really helps you to get familiar and comfortable with the language. So there are commonly used nouns, verbs, because of which I could, it made it quite easy to get familiarized with the language. So I'm really grateful for those resources also. So even before I could get my books, I could start my studies because of the resources that are already there. Yep. And yeah, then comes the most important part, that is the homework. So every week, once every concept is taught, we are given a homework based on those concepts. And honestly, Jay Kumar ji works really hard in creating that homework for us. Once you start getting the homework, you will see how much effort has gone into just designing that homework. So the homework helped me in two ways. Firstly, the repetition that keeps happening, that really makes the concept stay in your mind, and especially when you have to start making your own sentences, coming up with your own examples in Sanskrit, it helps to retain the concept much better, and plus it gives you a lot of confidence. So for me, when I started making short stories in Sanskrit, really simple language, very, very basic stories, but that gave so much of confidence. Plus, when you start doing the anvayas of the shlokas, when you start breaking them down, deciphering them, so every word, so it just, you can really start appreciating the shlokas so much better once you start uh, going in this process. Secondly, it helped me in a way that the homeworks really generate a lot of doubts, and clarifying those doubts clarified the subject, the concept way better. So I really suggest that you guys pay a lot of attention to the homework. It really helps. So overall, it worked fantastic for me. I could watch the class at my convenience. I did not have to worry about the time. I did not have to worry about the people in the background or the noise in the background. I could do it at my convenience. Other thing that helped me um, by watching these offline classes was that I could pause the class at any point. If I came across some word or some idea which I thought I needed to know more about, I could pause then and there. I could make notes. I could refer to other resources. I could refer to the dictionary, which all of us will get familiar in some time. So that also made the study quite comprehensive. And thirdly, for me, uh, so I could gather much more by watching the class objectively, like not being a part of it and watching it. I could be more objective about the discussions, about the mistakes the other students were making, about the corrections that Jay Kumar ji was making. So that really helped. Oh yeah, and for about the homework, there's one more thing that Jay Kumar ji initially in the initial classes, I would self check my homework, but after that I used to submit my homework, and it was so precisely checked and graded by Jay Kumar ji that I was really surprised that how he was managing to do it with so many students. It takes a lot of effort. And from those mistakes that I made in the homework, also I got a lot of clarity. So yeah, this is my experience about of Sasyam, and it has worked very good for me, and I'm sure it will work very good for all of you also. I just want to give you one small advice before I leave. So Jay Kumar ji is doing a great service by providing us this fantastic base, but eventually we are here because we want to learn, right? And our study is not going to be possible unless we are committed. So I suggest you guys have a strict discipline. So it could be at your comfort level. Say you have decided to take up or to watch one class or finish one homework per week. I would suggest please stick to it. Be in that discipline, because once you start pushing it, it will start piling up, and that will be the start of the demotivation, right? So please follow religious discipline towards your homework. Yeah, so
Thanks.
that's from my end. Thank you, Jayakumarji.
Thanks. And even I am taking a Sanskrit course, Panini's course, taught by somebody, and the class falls right on Wednesday mornings, Indian Standard Time, which clashes with my shloka class that I'm teaching. So I take that course offline, and that course is somewhat technical, and so I'll enjoy that, watching the video at my own time. Say at 9 o'clock or something, I'll start and I'll pause, make notes and things like that. So in some cases, the offline method of learning works very well. So I think we are about 8:27 a.m. here in India. Trying to summarize here. Some of you may not have spoken. We'll give you a chance in a minute. Bhaskar, Rudra, are you there? And if you can introduce yourself very briefly and quickly, so we can conclude. And anybody else who has not spoken.
Sir, Srinath has not spoken.
Yeah, go ahead. There it is. Srinath, go ahead. Very brief.
Yeah, Hariom, sir. I was also in the other class, Lata class, the other day. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. My name is Srinath Jedshella, and originally I'm from Hyderabad, but I'm in the US for quite some time, and right now I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Very nice.
And I'm by profession, I'm a software engineer, and I work for Tata Consultancy Services, and the client is Nationwide Insurance.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Dhanyawada.
No.
Dhanyawada.
Thank you, Srinath. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Shashank, go ahead.
Namaste, Guruji. Namaste, everybody. My name is Shashank. I am from Ottawa, Canada, currently. I am originally from Hyderabad. I am an integrated circuit designer, and I work for a company called Synopsys. I am very interested in learning Sanskrit for three main reasons. One is I would like to read the scriptures, especially the Advaita Siddhanta, which I'm very interested in, and understand the scriptures myself rather than depending on somebody else's translation. Second reason, I would like to see and experience it firsthand myself, how learning Sanskrit can change my perspective of life and every other thing, and how it can impact my life. And the third is I would like to find out the science that is all written in Sanskrit and see how it can be applied in everyday life. I'm actually a researcher by my work. I do an R&D, so that's my main motivation to learn Sanskrit. And I would like to take this to thank you a lot for giving me a chance to learn Sanskrit.
Yeah, yep. Thanks, Shashank. Welcome to Sasyam.
Yeah, Dhanyawada.
Anybody else who hasn't had a chance to introduce themselves? Okay, good. So any last thoughts? You will get an email. Those of you who joined the orientation today will get an email with further instructions, what to do, etc. Online resources, the videos and so forth, and when the tutorial classes will be and things like that. And so we have a mix of people. Yesterday there was a session where there were 15 people from Europe, Switzerland and Germany and France and so forth, expressed interest. So I am thinking of having the tutorial classes in the night time instead of morning time here. I don't know, that may or may not work with the US folks. So, but for now, the class is on Tuesday mornings at 6:45, the tutorial classes. And we will announce to you when the tutorial class will be. It may or may not be every week. It'll be conducted as needed. And so I will pause with that. Any final thoughts? Any final questions? Doubts? Anything I may have missed?
One question, sir. When are the live classes? Regular, weekly? Is it the same time as today, or?
Yeah. So this class is a video-based class. So there is really going to be no live class. You will be watching the video of a class that was conducted last year. And so there is a whole series of classes that I conducted. So you'll be watching the video and doing the homework. And then you'll be attending a live tutorial class where you will get a chance to practice what you learned. Okay. And so that's the model we are following. And I'm already teaching 6 classes, so I don't have time to teach this class personally, and that's why this model is being followed. And especially after folks like Charvi and Shakuntala and Mahesh and Sangeeta ji, they started learning the language by looking at the videos offline. So I hope I clarified that question, Sandeep ji. Yeah. Okay. अन्ये विचाराः, संशयाः, प्रश्नाः सन्ति वा?
Sir, one quick question, sir. What is your email ID, or do we have to send a text message by the you gave it.
My email ID is Jayakum, JAYAKUM, JAYAKUM.
Okay.
108 Jayakum,
okay.
108 at gmail.com.
Okay, noted. I will send an email.
Sure. Yeah, you can send me a text message or an email. Either one is fine.
Sure. Dhanyawadaha.
Okay. So some of you are pretty good at using chat and sharing screens and things like that. So some of those like me have to learn a little bit. Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Go ahead, Saraswati.
Acharya, next class.
We can't hear you, Saraswati. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Gurudev, Acharya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. The question I had is, will you be sending us a schedule for which video we have to watch all those things, details?
Correct. So we'll send you, at the minimum, we'll send you what is the next video to watch. So perhaps weekly, you might get an email. Or if my students suggest some other system, we may follow that. Perhaps there is we have a YouTube channel called Arsha Seva Kendram YouTube channel. And so we'll see. Some of my students are a lot more technically savvy than I am. So I would like to get their feedback and see what's the best way to do this. So maybe there's a channel there where we'll put all these videos. So at any given time, you can go there and see the next video, things like that. So suffice it to say that you will get an email with all the instructions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hari Om, Jekabarji.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Hari Om, I don't have all the books because I have to write into Bangalore to get the books. Currently, I only have an infant reader, but other books with Devendra Nagari.
Yeah, so earlier I mentioned Abhyasa Pustakam.
Yes,
earlier I mentioned Abhyasa Pustakam. And then there's one more book. One more book. Let me share that with you. It's called Bhasha Praveshaha. This is how it looks. Bhasha Praveshaha. So this is also from Samskrita Bharati. what I'll do is I'll send you information about how to order these books in US and in India. And then this other book is called, is by an organization called Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan. Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan. And good series of books. This particular book actually is a pretty thick book, and called Teach Yourself Sanskrit. And they are located in Delhi. And so I purchased this long ago. So I'll send you more information about how to order this book. And I use this book also a lot because it has a lot of pictures along with the words. I noticed here it is all in Devanagari. So that's why I said that Devanagari is a requirement. So this is a nice book. And so I'll send you all that information by email. All right, Lalitaji?
Yes, then I'll get it ordered through people in India.
Say that again?
I have to order through India. I have to buy the books through the India Sanskritam.
Correct. Samskrita Bharati. Correct. Correct. So I'll send you all that information. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions so forth? You feel free to send me an email or send me a text message or call me.
One question. I was wondering if we have a ebook or a online or a PDF copy of the books that you just recommended.
Yes, I do have copies, PDF copies of these books, which I will share with you because I need to use them in my online classes. And so you're not required to urgently buy these books, but it's always good to have a book in hand. And so it's also a way to support. It's also a way to support these organizations who have done excellent work. Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining. We will. Since it's a bit late, I want to conclude. Let's prarthanaya samapayamaha. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste. Thank you all for joining. See you all shortly.
Thank you.
See you all shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
धन्यवादः पुनर्मिलामः
धन्यवादः
पुनर्मिलामः